back to another episode of the Ganas Network podcast. Homero Guerrero here in the building.
With Pablo. What's up?
Pablo P. Welcome back, everybody. It's been a long week.
Very long week.
We definitely want to thank our good friend Michael Preciado. He was our guest last week, master barber extraordinaire from Orange County. Well, he's from North California, but he's currently working out of
Davis, California.
Yeah, he's going to be opening a new shop in LA. If you guys are interested on, anything having to do with barbering or starting a career, an artsy career, because that's very artsy, right?
Oh, it's a craft.
Yeah.
It's still a craft for some people. Not everybody, but...
Yeah, if you guys are interested, make sure you guys check that out. It was the last episode before this one. But, yeah, we're back here. Sorry we're one day late. We had some technical difficulties yesterday. Pablo had some issues with his...
I did.
With his whip.
My 2014 and a half Toyota Camry.
Gotta throw that half in there.
I gotta throw that half because it was almost a 2015, bro. It was almost
damn.
a 2015.
Yeah, I was here at the office waiting, and you didn't show up, man. I was like, what happened? Your car got stuck or something, right?
Yeah, I was actually on my way to go meet up with a friend of mine. I had to have him sign some paperwork. And right when I was about to turn the corner at a stoplight, my car turned off.
Ooh.
So I put the car in park, turned the ignition, turned the car off, and then turned the car, and it turned back on. I switched the key up, and the car turned back on. But then the gear was stuck, and I didn't know what was going on. And there was traffic. Everybody was trying to turn left. There's 2 lanes that turn left at that light.
People are honking.
And people were honking, and I'm just like, I don't know.
Flipping you the bird?
I'm like, what is going on with my car right now? Like, this is weird,
Yeah, because it's a new car. It shouldn't be happening.
2014 and a half.
Yeah.
And this whole deal is happening to me. I'm like, what? So people start going around me, and I'm stuck there trying to figure out, like, what's going on with my car. So I call my good friend who was around the corner. And the funny thing is I tell him, hey, man, I'm in a weird situation here. I'm literally about to turn at the light around the corner from your job, and my car is stuck here, bro. So I need you to sign that paperwork. So if you can come to me, that'd be great. And he's like, yeah, no problem. So he rolls through, and I'm here. I have my hand out the window. I have the hood of the car up, and I'm waving traffic through, and I'm trying to get these people to just go around me. And there I am sitting. I called Toyota Roadside Assistance.
Yeah.
These guys were like, yeah, we'll have somebody there like 3 o'clock. It's like 1 o'clock. I'm like, I'm not going to stick around here for
so
2
it wasn't AAA. It was Toyota Roadside because they offer the roadside, right?
Correct.
Damn, but 3 hours, that's ridiculous. 2 hours, that's ridiculous, dude.
Yeah. So anyways, it was an interesting situation that I was in. A lot happened in that time frame. That just kind of brought up some interesting things that I wanted to talk about today, because most people, when they get in a situation like this, I'm on social media all the time.
Yeah,
a lot of my business revolves around it.
Yeah, you guys need to follow him if you guys want to get inspired by some delicious food.
And yeah, I'm always posting about food. I love taking pictures of my fatty foods.
Big foodie.
And it's funny because I've seen people post situations similar to this where their car's stranded on the freeway. Or they got a flat tire.
They lock their keys
or they
inside.
lock their keys inside. I see all this stuff. And usually what people say is off to a shitty day.
Right.
And then they put the initials FML, which we all know stands for Fuck My Life. And I can't stand that shit.
Grown-ass adults, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, how could you hate your life that much over this fucking situation?
Right, yeah.
And, I was just reminded of that because I felt like this is a position where I can easily be swayed to say, fuck my life. Like, why would this happen to me? Especially with traffic all around me. Mm-hmm. And I'm a true believer that, spoken words like that will attract, negative things. So if you say, fuck my life, guess what? The universe, your God, whatever it is that you believe in is going to say, no problem. Your wish is my command. And then you probably end up having an entire shitty day.
That's right.
And I think it's true because, words are powerful, man. Words are things. And And I just wanted to like let people know, look, man, just because this happened to me, guess what? I still made, something. It was not something for me to be so upset about.
Right.
Why? Because number one, luckily, thank God, I had roadside assistance. So if roadside assistance says they're on the way, they're on the way.
Right.
Even though it's like almost a 2-hour wait, but at least I know someone's coming.
Right.
But then a couple of other things, happened. I'm standing next to my car while traffic is moving. I got the hood of my car up. I'm standing next to the car, right? And then I actually got in and I sat in the car and I just stuck my hand out and I'm just waving people,
Like,
right?
Go, go, go.
I can stare through the rearview mirror and I see people just driving, pulling up next to me like nothing has happened to my car. But I'm noticing these people, and what they're staring at as they're approaching the stop is their phones.
Oh, man, I see that all day, dude, on the freeway.
And it blows my mind that you see a guy with the hood up. I mean, you can see that from a mile away, or
Right.
at least a quarter mile away, right?
Right.
You see somebody with the hood, you're like, oh, snap, I'm going to have to jump on the other lane.
Right.
People continued for about 90 minutes to pull up right behind me. And then they had the audacity to drive around me and look at me like I'm screwing up their day.
Yeah.
And they're like, what are you doing? Get out of the way. I'm like, I can't even shift
Right.
the car to drive. Otherwise, gladly.
I mean, what do these people think, that you're just sitting there for fun? Like,
Apparently.
that's what I like to do. I just like to stall in the middle of of a beautiful sunny afternoon in the middle of Irvine. Like, that's fun.
Very productive day I was
that's
having
fun.
too, to top it off, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, I want to just kill my day.
Right.
And then to top it off, right, in this 90 minutes that I'm waiting, I had 3 Irvine PD or Tustin PD. It was one of those guys. 3 of them drive by. They just look at me and they just kept driving. Not
Of
once offered, hey,
course.
do you need some help? Do you need me to help you guys? Nothing.
Of course,
not,
dude.
Not a finger was lifted.
Dude.
But I will give a shout out. I don't know who it is, but it's some white guy and a white lady. They were driving by and they did stop and ask, hey, do you need help? Do you want to push the car? I was like, I can't move the shift. It's locked. He's like, do you need some help? Did you call roadside assistance? If not, we have it.
Oh, wow.
So that was cool.
Wow.
But then I was like,
That's
no,
awesome.
I'm cool. I already called roadside assistance. They took off. I said, you guys can go ahead and go. Thanks.
Yeah.
But out of, I don't know, 150, 200 cars in that an hour and a half, it could have been more. I don't know. It just felt like they kept coming.
That was it.
That was the one person
Wow.
that, offered to help. And everybody else would just look at me and just be like, and I'm like, they're just nodding their head, basically saying like,
yeah.
sucks to be you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And but again, most people in a situation like that would say, fuck my life. This
Yeah.
sucks. And I hate that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't too sure what happened, and I saw your Facebook post about that, and you remained positive, optimistic. It's like, hey, it is what it is. Move on. And I think for the majority of the people out there that, like you said earlier, man, like let the smallest things upset them or ruin their day. People just need to toughen the fuck up.
Serious, man.
Like I luckily have like a high tolerance for that kind of shit. I don't let those things really like bring me down. But I'm glad that you were able to get your car to the shop safely, because and the reality of it is there's bigger problems in this world than your car getting stuck in the middle of an afternoon. Luckily you don't have a job number one, but because if you did, you'd have to call your boss or your manager and say, hey, I had some car problem on my lunch break. I need to take my car to the shop. I'm gonna, which is what maybe gonna get you written up or in trouble. The manager will be like, oh,
maybe
man,
not.
This Pablo
Unless you
guy's
have a cool
slacker.
boss like me,
Right.
He will understand, right?
Right, but it's cool. You got the freedom, man, to do all that stuff, and it's just I'm glad you always remain positive and keep us updated via Facebook.
But the funny thing is, I wanted to post that for a reason, because I see a lot of people on my social media wall that say FML for everything.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, it's to the point. Like, I know you're not a big sports guy, right?
I love baseball. Is my only
Besides,
thing.
baseball's not a real sport.
Oh,
but like
shit.
football or basketball, you're not into that stuff.
No, I'm not.
So, there's people that are like diehard like sports fanatics.
Sure, their team loses.
If their team loses, they say "fuck my life," and
Or
I'm
they-
like, wow, does that really have that much of an impact on your life that you would say "fuck my life"? Do you know what you're attracting for the next 3 days? You're gonna have shitty ass days. And the word FML I can't stand. I can't stand when people post it or the initials, because I know what that means. And dude, trust me, dude, you're posting about first world problems.
Yeah.
And you're letting this little shit, destroy a day. Like, dude, get over it. I still was, you know what? Because I remained optimistic later that evening. Thank you, Toyota of Orange. They hooked me up with a loaner car.
Sponsor.
And guess what? With that car, I went and I still went and flipped the profit. So I was still able to have a very profitable day.
Yeah.
No worries in my, and it happened, but it's a cool story now because I get to talk about it on the podcast. And if you're posting FML, dude, you really need to reevaluate your associations, what you're putting in your head, and your life.
Yeah, well, when I think of that acronym, FML, I just envision a 15-year-old girl that is in high school, right? Let's say she's trying to get ready, right? Or she's on the way to school, mom's dropping her off, and she drops some makeup on her lap. Oh, fuck, ruins her day. But that's okay. A younger person, they aren't really used to having life challenges.
With very little life experience.
Right.
Correct.
So, fuck my life, a little teen saying it. That's cute, right? Like, you can let a little younger person get away with it. But when you're a grown-ass person, you have a family, you're married, you have kids or whatever, and you're over here saying, fuck my life over the smallest, dumbest little thing. Like, that's just ridiculous. I get what you're saying, man. Yeah. It's funny. It cracks me up. Dude.
But another thing I realized is how attached we are to our phones. That as soon as we see, and I'm
guilty of it, man.
I'm going to talk. I'm not going to say that I'm not guilty of it because I've done the same thing. But I'm also very aware that if I'm coming to a stop, to look up, and I've been able to spot things like that before, where you're just like, okay, the hood's up, we're gonna have to go around, right? Or if I see all cars shifting to one lane, that tells me something happened up ahead. But I'm not like glued to my phone and then like a zombie, just like, what if one of these guys would have ran into me? Which I wouldn't have minded because number one, my car was in park. It would have been a pretty decent impact. But I would have sued the shit out of them because I was in Tustin and Irvine, so I would have made some money.
Right. Like, that's funny that you mentioned that earlier about like the 3 cops passed. I don't know if it was Irvine or Tustin, but I've had and personally had bad experiences with Irvine PD, man. Racial profiling me like crazy. I guess I'll save it for another episode, our racial profiling episode. But man, I hate Irvine PD, dude. It's like one of the safest cities, aside from like Mission Viejo in Orange County. Irvine's such a safe city, and these cops, look to harass for the smallest unnecessary things that in any other city with real issues would never happen. Irvine PD, man, fuck you guys. I swear to God. And I'm actually pro law enforcement. I former, criminal justice. That's kind of like my background, so I don't want to sound anti-police, but man, Irvine PD, fucking terrible.
Well, I was just kind of disappointed that not one of them said, hey, man, you need some help. Do you need to call a tow truck? Right. Anything.
Because if you were a hot blonde.
Oh, they would have. 4 cops would have showed up.
Oh, yeah.
Directed all 4 sides of traffic.
They would have called a helicopter for backup. They would have towed it at no charge.
Would have been on KTLA.
Oh, man. But, that's the thing, people. You have to have your priorities straight, and you have to realize that there are bigger issues in life outside of, this perfect world in the U.S., if you're listening in the U.S., outside of these freedoms that we have here and these privileges that we have. Obviously, freedom isn't free, right? We do pay for, the right to be here. And, in California, especially, we have almost perfect weather year round. So we don't have other issues that in other parts of the country, like hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, they got other issues. Imagine in these other countries where there's no running water, there's no electricity. That's FML moments, dude.
Check this out. So you're in the desert in like some Middle Eastern country or somewhere in China on Eastern Asia, and you're on a road and then your car turns off on you.
Right.
At that point in time, they probably don't have roadside assistance out there.
Yeah.
If you want to say FML, hey, you're in a pretty messed up situation. But here in the U.S., if you don't have $50, $100 in case of an emergency to pay for a tow truck, if you don't have roadside assistance, then you seriously do have some other things you need to look at in your life. But to be saying FML, you're saying your entire life you want to just say fuck you, life of mine.
Fuck my life. I'm gonna go kill myself. I'm gonna jump off of a building because fuck my life. It's just so hard.
Stupid shit.
Well,
Don't be victim of that, man, because all that does is breed more negativity into your day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a religious person, but I remember there's that scripture, there's that line that's like, life and death is in the power of the tongue. And it's like those things that you reaffirm or tell yourself or even speak out, it's, you get law of attraction, right? You just keep on.
Law of attraction. So I posted that. I had a good attitude about it because, like I said, I knew I knew it had warranty, so I knew it was going to take care of.
Yeah.
I had roadside assistance. I knew they were going to come pick up the car. I knew that, and I still got my friend to sign the paperwork that he needed to sign.
Yeah.
And guess what? While I was there waiting, I had just gone to Starbucks, so I had a Starbucks with me. Shout out to Starbucks because you guys keep me going all day.
They keep you happy.
So, I mean, hey, it was just a cool experience. I got to share it with my social media. It's cool to see everybody there sit there and say, I like your comment, or I like the fact that you're so positive. But that wasn't why I did it. I did it because I just choose not to use the word FML. And I really wanted to give an example of this is a situation where most people would say, fuck my life. And not me, because I love my life.
Yeah.
I love the time that I have to enjoy it, to be wherever I want to be. It just so happened that I had just got back from El Monte. I was out in El Monte. Then I came back because I had to get this. So I'm all over Southern California.
Yeah, LA.
Yeah, and this is at the randomest time, and because I'm able to do these things. So I love my life. I'm not going to sit there and say, fuck my life. What am I going to attract? I love my life. Every day is an adventure for me.
Yeah.
So anyways, if you're out there thinking that your life is that shitty, I mean, really, I think you need to reevaluate, the information you're putting into your head, maybe the people you're hanging out with, because you should never feel that way about your life. You should never let any little thing like that dictate you saying, screw my life, like, fuck my life, like, my life is worthless. Why would you do? That's like saying my life is shit because my car turned off. Like, your life? I mean, it's one day, not your life.
Yeah.
But fuck my life, I just don't like it.
Yeah, the thing is, I think a lot of people, too, they use it so much that they don't mean it, like what it is. But like we've said before, like these words are power, Even if you only text it or you only say to yourself, oh, fuck my life, like, it's kind of an immature thing to say.
Yeah, and it's not even immature. I'm just saying somebody's listening, bro. Somebody's listening, and don't be surprised if the next few days are just as bad.
Yeah. Because
you're going to have other little things. You're going to get written up at work the next day.
Right.
You're going to get, baby mama or daddy drama issues, or, your check's not going to arrive on time, or there's something in the next couple of days is going to be. And the only reason I believe something bad is going to happen is because at that moment in time, you decide to say, fuck my life. I cannot believe this is. So it's kind of like, the law of attraction or the secret, remember?
Yep.
What you focus on expands, right? So if you focus on this one negative thing that happened, guess what? They're going to throw a couple more negative things your way just to reassure and saying, hey, I'm listening.
It's going to spiral fast.
Whatever you're. So I believe in God, right? So you and I, we have different beliefs on that stuff. I believe in God. If I was to say, hey, God, FML, what's he going to say? All right. You handle the next 3 days without me, then let's see if you say that again, right? You don't. I believe in that higher power watching over me,
bro. You're going to learn, Pablo.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say that. I value my life too much. Life, every day is a gift, right? Even just because your car turned off doesn't mean you're still not alive and breathing. You're alive and breathing. I mean, that would be a bad day, But yeah, I just don't like the FML. I know people say it just because, like, I guess it's the cool thing. But you know what? You keep following the masses off the cliff. Guess what? You're gonna go off the cliff eventually too.
Yeah, and another thing, man. On social media, especially, Pablo, people are always watching. And we've mentioned it before. We're about to open an office, right? And talking to some friends, and people are saying like, "Oh man, maybe you can give me a job," right? But if through social media I see the small problems that bug you that much, I don't really want to hire you because I need to find people that are problem solvers, optimistic, and don't let little shit bring them down. Because in work, like in life, there's going to be challenges, with customers, with clients, with coworkers. And I can't have somebody that's super sensitive and always just like, oh, fuck my life. Like, so let's say, guys, let's pretend, because I don't know if you guys are aware, but a lot of companies now, they do some type of background checks. You know, they're doing some research. My sister's in HR, and sometimes, especially if they're for important positions like management, you know, let's say they look up your social, they Google search you. Like me, I'm all over. Like if you Google me, like you can find a lot of my social stuff because I have a pretty like different name. You know, Mero Guerrero is not like, you know, Alex Sanchez. You know, it's common. You know,
Right.
So if you Google me, you could see my old MySpace shit, my old Twitter, and I mean, luckily I don't care about that. You know, I'm not applying for a job anytime soon, but if you have, let's say, a Facebook and you're constantly posting negative stuff or just, oh, fuck my life, you know, whatever, whether it's private, you know, a lot of times people can get access to this stuff. So do yourself a favor and just get that mindset, get the vocabulary completely out of your mind and grow, you know. Instead, why not be optimistic and, you know, demonstrate things that you're thankful for. You know, people think, I have a lot of friends like, man, Omar, you're one of the most positive people I know. And, you know, I am pretty positive and optimistic, don't get me wrong, you know, but, you know, I have my challenges as well. I just choose to not display it on Facebook.
Or magnify them, you know? If you put a magnifying glass on anything, guess what?
Right.
It's going to intensify it. And social media is just another way for you to intensify and put fire in that, you know, that negative thing that's going on in your life, and putting your Facebook problems out or your problems out on Facebook. Like, people can get an idea of the kind of person that you are, and if they want to associate or affiliate with you. And you know what? I'm not a big fan of FML, but I mean, I'm also not a big fan of, like Omero said, you know, I'm not a person who doesn't have challenges. I've posted my challenges too. But I always try to post my challenge with the solution that possibly I came up with, or how am I going to figure something out.
Correct.
You know, that's the way you got to look at it. You know, you have to be a problem solver.
Oh, my dog got sick. Fuck my life.
If you want to watch soap operas, yo, just be on Facebook all day, and you'll see so many different soap operas going on.
And you know, I have a few close friends. I can't say names, but man, I've written a few times like Facebook. I'll comment this because I'm kind of like, I don't care. I'll comment like, Facebook isn't a journal. What's your address? I'll buy you one. Because it disclosed some really personal shit. Like, let it go. Like, so what? You're really sore. So what? Like, oh, the gym was so packed today. Fuck my life. Like,
the gym was packed. So fuck your life? Really? Find a better time to go, dude.
Oh, man.
Anyways, you know, it's the whole thing is like, you know, for me, I just had this rant about the FML thing because yesterday I think I saw two people on my social media post FML, like fuck my life. And I think that's the reason it stuck out to me, and it bothers me so much that's the reason that stuck out to me at that moment in time when I'm stuck in traffic, that I'm like, this is one of those moments where most people would do this, but I'm not, because you know what? I love my life. It's just a freaking car, dude. Like, I got roadside assistance. It's still under the what do you call it? Warranty. Yeah. So, you know, it's not that big of a deal, bro. You know, I already made some money today too. You know, business is going well.
Right.
I was able to accomplish what I needed to accomplish with my friend, because he came to me, you know, even though he tried to help me. Shout out to my boy. He's tried helping me out, you know, to see if we can get the car to turn, or to move. But, you know, at the end of the day, your life can't be that bad. And if it is that bad, keep it to yourself. Nobody wants to hear it. Unless you want to present the problem or the challenge you had with a solution that you came up with, that's inspiring. That's motivational right there. That's like, wow, okay, you went through this, and someone in your timeline is probably going through a similar situation, and you just gave them the solution to that problem, as opposed to just saying, this is my problem, fuck my life. You know, come back with saying, I had this challenge earlier today, but this is how I got it done.
Right.
Boom. Big difference, you know, in the way you're, but you don't need to end it with FML.
Right.
Just get away from that term, bro.
Your thinking is stinking if you're using FML in 2016.
Seriously, FML is no longer cool, dude.
In the words of the great Joey Diaz, get it together, cocksucker. I wanted to send a special shout out to our good friends at Bring the Fire.
Bring the fire.
They were on an episode with us. We did like a collab podcast, like a couple months ago.
Yeah, that was cool too.
They just invited me to their office last week, and I recorded a podcast with them. Their podcast is called the BDF Podcast. It's on iTunes, just like Ganas Network. I'm going to be on that episode next week. Episode 13. So check it out. Talked a lot about Pablo. Talked a lot about Ganas Network and what we're doing here. But it was fun. You know, I sat down with Gabe, Vincent, and Kareem and John, and it was like a bunch of friends just sitting and talking about business, marketing, and, you know, life stuff, you know, because one thing we talked about was, you know, one of the questions they were asking me was, how do I balance my life and my career? And, you know, it's kind of honest, like, it's not perfect. It's not balanced, really, because every day's different, you know, and when you're an entrepreneur, you have your own business, like, it's not so set up where you wake up at the exact same time every day and you go do what you do, you clock out, you know, you have your same breaks. It's not like that at all. It's every day is a new day full of different challenges, and I love it. You know, I choose to live my life that way, and that the fact that every day's a mystery. You got to go out there and work and make it happen and continue growing in what it is that we're doing. So shout out to those guys. You guys got to check out that podcast, and I think Pablo's going to be on there soon too.
Yeah, I was invited too, so I'm looking forward to chopping it up with them.
Chilling with the fellas over there. Also, guys, if you guys know, it's already tax season this month. It's April.
Get your taxes done,
I heard a commercial on the radio that tax day got extended till the 18th this year.
I don't know, but as long as
I could be wrong, I've been wrong before.
As long as if you send for an extension and it's stamped before the 15th, even on the day of the 15th, you'll still qualify without being dinged.
Well,
6-month extension.
There you go. And for those of you people out there that have been thinking about fixing their credit, thinking about calling Metro Fund Financial, you know, many of you are getting tax returns, not me. I had to pay a lot of money to Uncle Sam, even more.
So I was when you're a business owner, son.
Yeah, but if you guys are, you know, ready to move forward with that, make sure you visit metrofundfinancial.com. Go to the website, check out, you know, the information about what they do. Give them a call. Take advantage of it. You know, they provide great results in a short amount of time. So if you're looking to improve your credit score, to, you know, buy a house, buy a car, or just get out of debt and fix your shit, give them a call. They're really, really good. They're professionals, and they'll help you out with that. Got to give you guys a shout out. I'm thankful for Metro Fund.
Yeah.
So anyways, guys, make it a great week. Delete FML from your freaking vocab. You're not 15 anymore. And if you're 15, then enjoy it. You got a year or two left to use that shit. You know, stay positive, stay bright. I'm trying to remember the saying, Pablo. Maybe you remember it. Something about you attract more bees with honey.
That's true.
Is that right? Is that how it goes?
That's
you know,
correct.
That's why I try to always stay positive, and at least on social media, like I'm not going to be negative and be fucking negative Nancy, because nobody likes to be that person.
Debbie Downer.
Don't be that person. You know, be a light, inspire someone, because there's always somebody looking at you. There's always people following you. So why not be encouraging and you know, let people know that you're feeling great so they can feel great too.
That's right.
Give yourself the permission to make it a great day, and to not let these stupid little tiny negative things that challenge all of us, by the way, that none of us are bulletproof to issues. We all have challenges, but it's how you react to them. So
that's right.
Anyways, thanks for joining us this week. We'll be back next week, Fun Day Monday, with Pablo Perez and myself and a special guest. So stay connected. If you haven't already done so, go to iTunes, leave us a review, 5 stars, show us some love. That's how it helps us get, you know, ranked up, and we'll pop up on the popular podcasts and stuff. Any final message? Any final words?
Yeah, man, love your life.
Yeah.
Love your life.
Yeah.
You're awake. People die every day. Love your life. You never know when it's going to be. What if that's the last post you do and then you died?
Shit.
You will always be looked at as, that guy said, fuck my life, and guess what? Someone listened and just took him out. Like,
damn, dude, that's a crazy thing you just said. Like,
it's
imagine
the truth.
if that was your last post.
Yeah, I've seen people's, you know, I've lost friends and family over the years, and, you know, during these social media times, and I've seen what their last post was, you know, and you always think, like, what was going through their head at that moment in time?
Right.
You know, and, you know, what if your last post is, fuck my life?
There it is.
And then you died.
Your wish is my command.
Exactly. Crazy, man.
All right, guys, make it a great week, and we will see you guys soon. Peace. Peace out.